Honorable Nanaware sir is there live, I suppose.
Yes, sir, I'm there, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
We had a break of just 10 minutes, therefore we got a little late.
Okay. Yeah.
I welcome Honorable Deepak Nanaware sir here. If you look at his academic profile, he is MA in English with state and MBA. Also, you have completed DCMJ, and as we say, it is highest degree in education, that is Master of Doctor of Philosophy. Uh, then you are IQAC coordinator. Generally, people of English are here, and head in the Department of English at DAV Velankar College of Commerce in Solapur. You are trustee of IQAC cluster. You have 22 years long experience of teaching at UG and PG level. So far, you have guided 9 students for PhD, and 8 students are yet pursuing PhD under your supervision. You are a member of Board of Studies at Punyashlok Ahilyabai Holkar, Solapur University. You are a member of RRC in Homi Bhabha State Cluster University, Mumbai. So far, you have written and published 22 reference books and textbooks. It's a very big number, that 475 lectures you have delivered so far in various programs, refresher course, orientation programs, faculty development programs, and various conferences, workshops, seminars, especially in English language and English literature. Also on faculty development programs related to NAC, submission of SSR, completion of AQAR, learning outcome, writing, mapping, and attainment is your specialty. You have been a mentor of 17 higher education institutes as for NAC accreditation. For NAC, you played a very vital role. And in our case, I say, for our institute, recently we got very good score there with very good CGPA. But telephonic communication with you was very much fruitful to us. Uh, Whenever we see at every criteria, we come to know, we recall you that you have guided some way or the other for crucial points there. As a column writer, as a soft skill trainer, you have contributed a lot in content development also. Uh, so far, it will credit. So you are conferred with 3 Best Teacher Awards, and you have been a teacher leader also in the first National Teacher Congress in 2016 held in MIT Pune. With this very good profile, Honorable Deepak Nanaware is here to guide us on online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. Online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. Uh, I request sir to continue and guide us on this very important topic.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very clearly.
Thank you very much. First of all, the team organizers. Already I have congratulated the institute because recently you have been assessed and accredited with a very respectable grade of 317, and that too at the location in the town, because when I heard your grade, sir, communicated to me, I was also very happy because whatever you were working throughout, we could sense and smell that you were on right track, and the enthusiasm of the team was such that, but natural. It's but quite natural that the outcomes are assessed, outcomes are reaped also. One thing just I would like to, first of all, before I begin with the organizing team, thank you very much for considering me the worthy enough to share a resource on this occasion of faculty development program organized under the aegis of Minister of Education, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, jointly organized in association with the Advocate B.D. Hamberde Mahavidyalaya Asti, and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, SGTBKC, University of Delhi, and all dear participants. Rather, I would say the brand ambassadors of the institutions, because just now I have gone through the schedule also. Just now you finished with the very important topic, that is OBE, outcome-based education, which has come into a lot of uh, uh, floodlight, and it has gained a lot of importance these days, because what has happened that until and unless we need to or we are able to design or map our systems, it is not going to be useful for us to address these students, those who are coming to us with a lot of uh, expectations, requesting for number of skills, including employability skills and life skills. So it must have been discussed. Today, the title allotted to me to present over here before you is Online and Digital Education, Ensuring Equitable Use of Technology. Before I start with the subject specific, let me put on the outline what exactly, because I need not waste anybody's time, and I always take care that whatever we discussed, the point we clear, there should be some kind of a takeaway. I do remember international Arabic Islamic scholar with whom I had an opportunity to share days, and with his Arabic accent, Arab accent, a lot of Urdu-based accent, mixed English sentences. He had quoted once that yes, we teach students. For students, we are God, no doubt. And he has said कि बच्चों को हम पढ़ाते हैं, बच्चों को हम ज्ञान देते हैं, क्या बच्चे हमें कुछ देते हैं इसके रिटर्न में? फिर बच्चे हमें क्या देते हैं? And the answer he had given was that बच्चे हमें वो चीज देते हैं, जब हमें उनको ज्ञान देते हैं, बच्चे हमें वो चीज देते हैं जिसकी जिंदगी में या इस धरती पे कीमत नहीं की जा सकती. And what is that? The thing that cannot be valued is given to us by students, and that is nothing else but बच्चे हमें उनका समय देते हैं. Until and unless students give us time, we are not able to teach them, and time cannot be valued. So if students are giving their valuable asset to us, simultaneously, all of you, whoever is here, I can see, including me, 78 of the brand ambassadors of your own institutions instead of teachers. Shibla ma'am, please mute. Yeah, please. So the point I was trying to mention, I'm aware of the fact that although this is a mandatory program, mandatory course that has to be attended, but it is not too that much mechanical that nothing is going to be gained. So during the time span allotted to me, I'm going to take care that in connotation or in connection with the point that I mentioned earlier, कि बच्चे हमें उनका मूल्यवान समय देते हैं, अमूल्य समय देते हैं. Equally, I am aware of the fact that you are giving me your precious time, and I don't have any right to kill or waste your time. So I promise that it will not be a wastage of your time. One. Secondly, I have kept my chat box open. I always love to listen to you. If you feel like having some kind of interaction, because I cannot start my session without you interacting, because this is peer learning. Although I'm going to deliver on certain topic, I always believe in experiences of our peers. So I shall be querying something to you. First of all, there will be some kind of interaction with you. I will be expecting some responses. Then we shall move on to internalizing or understanding concepts related to What exactly is the digital education, the online education, and how the concepts have been moving or have been percolated into our systems during these ages. Then I'm going to connect all of us to New Education Policy 2020 and what this particular topic has to do. And major presentation or major time will be related to the equitability, because please note the topic assigned to me, that equitable use of the online digital education. What does it mean to be equitable? Because two terms are going to be recurrently over there. One is equitable and other is disruptive. Two terms I'm going to use simultaneously, so we shall be doing that. Then what exactly is the planning in terms of the online and digital education will be one of the topics of presentation, and simultaneously what roles new education policy has assigned to the planners, one, implementers, simultaneously to HEIs, higher education institutions, let it be autonomous colleges or affiliated colleges, constituent colleges, and sign not only that, but universities also, to the governments also. So what are the rules? And not only universities, but most important catalyst of change in the higher education system, that is teachers. What are their roles? So we'll be discussing on these certain issues. But before I start with that, I would like to listen to you, listen something from you. So my first question, please answer my first question. When we are talking about online or digital education, when did you actually start practicing the method of online or digital delivery of your class or your lecture? I repeat, when it comes to online or digital lectures or teaching, learning, online digital teaching, learning, when did you start your first lecture using online or digital mode? Please respond. You may unmute if it is possible for you, or I have kept my chat box open. I'm going to take note of each and every one of your response. Yes, please. Yes, please. Come on. Vidya ma'am says during lockdown. Rumila ma'am, same response, during lockdown. Yes.
Yes, sir. Same here.
Yes, Gomtesh sir, same during lockdown. Yes, what about others? No response means two possibilities. You might not have started, or you might not be thinking, say, important enough to respond. I said that every
Yes, sir.
new addition. See, okay. Lakshman Narayan sir says that during lockdown pandemic. Let your answer be repetition. I won't mind. I will be more than happy to receive. Same, because it is going to be a kind of a poll. It is going to be kind of poll. Yes, please. Only five responses in chat box and one oral response. Yes,
Sir, pandemic did many losses to us, but this good thing had come up.
Let us, yes, I accept, because yes, good thing. Please quote, underline the word that is good thing. Let us check whether it is really good, or if it is not, or if it is the best. So that's why we are going to. That's what we are going to discuss over here during the time. Yes. Narayana sir says that during lockdown time, Bodle sir says pandemic compelled us. This word is very important for me. That is compelled. Thank you, Anand sir. To be realist, that is compelled us to exploit. And one more word he has used, that exploitation. Let us take the word positively. Okay, that is digital technology for teaching. Okay, these are the representative responses. Second question to all of you. What do you know, or how do you define what is online? What, in your conception, give me a prompt response. Don't overthink. This is not going to be, yes, this is not going to be recorded for the giving you credit or grade from the organizers of for FDP. Okay, this is just for your, yes, connected to internet. Connected to internet. Okay. Surikala ma'am, thank you. Using internet and communicating to one another. Okay, online. Then Dr. Satinder says that Zoom meetings. I'm going to come to platform, stream live, Anand sir. Okay. And Nikhil sir says that live, connected, virtually. Okay. Then Sunil sir says online means where teaching and learning takes place by electronic media. And Nandini ma'am, says the students are not physically present but virtually. I'm going to note the word online, virtual. Okay. Then Google Classroom, Google Meet. You have started answering my third question. I was about to ask you what are the tools? What are the tools that you have used during lockdown? Because all of you said that you started online teaching methods, or first lecture you delivered through online mode. So what are, just tell me, what are the modes or what are the tools that you have used? Already you have started using Google Meet, Google Classroom, then type of teaching method of ICT. Okay, online, audio, visual, electronic, teacher mint also, pen tap, Zoom Meet, okay, Zoom Meet, then Microsoft Teams, and then YouTube channel. Good. Good. Thank you very much in advance to all of you. Then VLab also, internet, mobile, computer, electricity. These are the tools I accept. Yes, because we are going to differentiate between tools and resources. ICT tools and resources we are going to do. Yes, Nikhil sir says WebEx. Okay. Then Surya Kalam ma'am says video conferencing tools, presentations tools, designing tools. And then, okay, Narayana sir, the same. Okay, so thank you very much for your responses. Thank you very much for responses. Just last question I was trying to ask. Let me take a note of Sunil sir. That is WhatsApp group calling, then video conferencing also he used. Video conferencing he's used. Then, yes, real-time streaming and all. Okay, the last question. Can you differentiate between what is ICT tool and what is ICT resource? Yes. Feel free to. Let it be very simple. I asked you to differentiate between ICT tool and ICT resource. How do you differentiate?
Sir, I suppose all hardware is tools and software is resources.
Okay, this is one of the possibilities of response. I'm not going to say whether it is yes or no. Okay, one answer we have received that the hardware. Okay, tools are applications used and resources are created using. Very good, Gomte sir. In continuation, same answer I received. Any more response? Any more response? I requested you to differentiate between ICT tool and ICT resource. Last response. Someone take lead. I would like to just go for sampling whether all the three, because I have received two responses, one oral response. Yes, Sunil sir says all the elements that help to help online teaching learning. Then what is it? It is whether it is a resource or tool. Tools, as said, hardware. A tools is application for creation. I repeat, creation, preservation, transmission, and delivery of ICT resource. And whatever is generated through, or whatever is generated or created using ICT tools is nothing else but a resource. Just remember, yes, I'm getting very good responses that ICT resource example is PPT. Absolutely right. Using software or using tools, whatever you create is your resource. So resources we divide between two, that is one, resources created by you. But in market also, on digital platform, you might have come across two different types of resources. Those who are available freely without any what you call copyright, a breach of IPR, what you call intellectual property right. So they are called as open educational resources. And we teachers become catalyst to provide, download, and provide or circulate or to forward those resources to our students. This is one possibility. And second possibility is that resources you create and then you communicate through your Google Class or different platforms that you studied. So thank you very much. And I salute your spirit of participation and enthusiasm of responses to my very smallest appeal. Let us move on. Let us move on to the next point. Here, when it comes to online teaching or digital teaching, I try to know from you what exactly do you know or have we understand the concept of online or digital education. To be theoretical for some time, digital education is in 21st century situation, digital education is considered to be the innovative way of way of what you call the teaching, learning, and other activities using digital tools, technologies. And it is also known by or known with the other concept, that is, it is called as technology enhanced learning. It is also known as TEL. So if someone uses the term TEL, do not get the concept that it is different than the digital education or it is different than e-learning. No, they are the same. And when it comes to online learning overcomes, because one of the references or responses mentioned that online teaching learning overcomes geographical or distance barrier, because virtually we are on single platform. Right now we are located in different nooks and corners of our country, but still we are on single platform as if we are sitting in auditorium. We can watch, we can listen, we can interact, we can agree to disagree, even we can protest, we can support, we can protest, we can support, and simultaneously we can be flexible with the mode of presentation. And that's what the concept of online learning gives, that it offers benefit for students, including chance to study flexibly. What does it mean to be flexible? Flexible means in online education, this is live. But if you record and send it to students can watch that, or the receiver can watch that according to his convenience. So you observe those things on NPTEL platform, MOOC platform, SWAYAM platform, that you complete that particular module according to your own convenience. Time is not barrier. Hour is not barrier. So what is barrier? Barrier is that mandatorily you have to study that according to your own convenience. And this is what the point I'm trying to mention, that it has overcome the geographical barrier, distance barrier, and secondly, the flexibility or location that suits. Now let me go back to the topic in terms of digital and online and digital education. I'm supposed to speak or divert my topic on ensuring equitable use of technology. Now, if we try to understand the meaning of the word, that is equitable is nothing else but treating everyone fairly or equally. Treating everyone fairly or equitably. Can you answer my question? A small question. When you started delivering lectures, because already majority of you have said that you have had never used online or live platform for your students to deliver a lecture, and now all of us are master in it, to be frank. But now tell me, have you faced some difficulties? From your point of view or from students' point of view when you delivered the sessions or lectures? Yes, please start replenishing the chat box. Did you find any any of the problem or difficulty in terms of the online teaching learning process? Yes, please. Yes, bridging the digital divide was challenging. Anand sir, this is highly loaded sentence. Can you be very crisp or very clear? What exactly do you mean to say? Yes, network issue. one is the network issue and maintaining students' attention span. Okay, good. Nandini ma'am has given response. Then Rohini ma'am says that difficult for electrical circuits diagram drawing. So teaching was difficult. Okay. It means you might be from the electronics or computer sciences. Okay, so it was not possible for you. Village background student, Vanita ma'am says that village background student. Vanita ma'am, can you explain me why, what exactly is problem? Because they were from rural area. Were not they
Well, they
yes.
are facing the internet problem, sir.
Hmm.
They can't connect with us during the class.
Okay, means internet connectivity issue, right?
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
did they have electricity?
Due to village, sir, due to village, the internet
Yes.
connection is very poor.
Uh-huh.
So they can't connect with us during the class. Many of us leave during the class time to time, or they can't understand what we are going to teach them.
Okay. One more question I would like to ask you, Anita ma'am. Was the problem only related to connectivity or electricity as well?
Both of sir.
Both the issues. Coming to Bodle sir, Anand Bodle sir, can you mute and can you sir please try to simplify the concept, because you have used the word bridging the digital divide. What exactly do you mean to say?
By bridging the digital divide mean that making a digital material available for all people at the same time was
Okay.
quite challenging, because
Huh.
students come from different that regional area sometimes. So
Hmm.
it's very difficult for teachers to make their content available, or help them to that get access to all the teaching material that we have, or learning material that we have.
One takeaway I'm taking from you, Anand sir, is that access and the equal level of delivery, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Anand sir, can you quote your subject or specialization, please?
I teach business communication, sir.
Okay, business communication. Thank you. Thank you. More responses I have received. So many. Oh, so nice of you. That to teach numerical subjects like accounting. Ankush sir, one response, because you have mentioned that your word is accounting, and before teacher goes to the class, he writes complete problem. How did you manage that? Can you please explain, Ankush sir? Because you have told that you taught accountancy through online mode. Ankush sir, are you there? I think he's not connected right now. Okay, let us come to Vidya ma'am's response. Preparing the online content which attracts students as they are not face to face. Okay, rather it means they were not physically together, but it was a virtual platform or connecting platform. Both problems, connectivity and electricity, and also lack of English language problems faced by Sunil sir. I'm noting down your response in terms of the what you call the English language barrier you have mentioned. Say this is what is very important for me, that all of us being teachers, we are aware that the English language. So is there any solution that has been planned by the planner of new education policy? This is what I slowly, believe me, I'm not passing or deviating you through that interaction, because I would like to have some kind of understanding or what you call common consensus on this particular topic. So come back to the idea, that is how we can ensure equitable use of technology. As I told you, that equitable is simply means that treating everyone fairly or equally. This point needs to be considered in terms of what you call, I had already cleared that repeatedly the word comes of related word comes is that the disruptive pedagogies or disruptive teaching methodologies. What does it mean? Disruptive is nothing else but replacing or changing, upgrading, replacing, changing, upgrading the traditional way in new and effective manner. Let it be teaching methodology, Whatever was our traditional teaching methodologies, we are upgrading now. It is planned that we need to upgrade. And through what? Through online or digital education. Now, Equitable, as I told you, that there is an idea of treatment, what do you call the similar treatment or fair treatment to everyone. And as Anand sir said, that we need to overcome digital divide. What is that digital divide? See, we have learned or we know the concept since our childhood that the society is divided based on the gender, race, caste, creed. There is an awareness. Simultaneously, in the era of technology, we have been facing additional divide, and that is the digital divide, because of the giving importance to ICT based education. And that's why the concept ensures the use of technology for online and digital education considers the aspect of adequacy. What is the word I'm using? That is adequacy. If it is, ma'am mentioned, there was a problem of connectivity. So now the solution for this, or the practical solution for this problem, is nothing else but adequate or substantial link should be there, or a connectivity issue should be there. Substantial or adequate electricity, and not only these two things, but the resources. One of the responses I had received was that we were not, Sunil Ram sir had mentioned that he was not able to deliver resources equally. It means if student is not able to receive that particular resource during the time or at the moment you are trying to deliver, is there any alternative that those resources can be virtually stored somewhere, sent through some platform, and the learner or our student, whenever he is free, visits the storage platform, and then he retrieves the resource which is sent from us. Not only that, but from the point of view of the responding to us in terms of the writing, online examinations, online evaluation, simultaneously sending or responding to our call for submitting assignments. Not only assignment, but 3 concepts of teaching learning: 1, participating, experimental, and problem-based pedagogies that we practice. So is there any alternative? This also we are going to take a note of. Now, when it comes to the concept of the education and connecting it to industry, see, I'm still making my ground. You may look at the screen very carefully, because this 5-minute span is going to be very important. Always we teachers, or education industry or education sector is always charged, always always objected that we are away from the industrial requirements. Our curriculum, our syllabus, and the requirement of industry, they are not the same time. And sometimes there is a possibility that we are also might be charged. Sometimes might be charged with the charge that there is a lot of gap between industry and academia. So there is a need to bridge the gap between industrial requirement, or the requirement of the industry or society outside, and not only that, but the designing and the delivery of the curriculum. Designing and the delivery of the curriculum should be different. So if at all we talk of the industry, if at all we are going to talk of new education policy and equitable use of information and communication and technology, that is ICT, for strengthening our teaching learning practices, we need to take responses first of all, that where or why our curriculum or the syllabus or our programs are like that. So many changes have been introduced at this 21st century backdrop, and simultaneously what was in the past. Let us now There is one of the concepts I would like to indulge. And remember, if at all you try to read, new education policy document completely, you will come across some of these concepts. Previously, there was a concept what we call Industry 1.0. Don't forget this, because wherever you will go in terms of the digitalization, in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of industrialization and the design and development of the curriculum or the syllabus or the educational policy, you will come across these types of concepts. So first of all, there is a concept of what you call Industry 1.0. What is that? During 1780s, there was a sudden development of mechanics. That is there was industrialization. You might remember that in Europe, industrialization touched, there was an industrial revolution and there was a mass production. So what happened? During the period of 1780s, the era is called as the period of mechanization. Era of mechanization. So this mechanization led to the industrial production based on the machines powered by water and steam. All of us do remember the first engine that was created, atomized manner rather than electricity. It was based on the steam pressure. That is considered to be 1.0 requirement of the society. Industry 2.0 concept appeared during 1870s, and it is considered to be the period of electrification. And due to electrification, what happened? There was a mass production using assembly lines. So after 100 years, mechanization was replaced by electrification. That is, steam was replaced by electricity. And during 1970s, exactly after 100 years, it is considered to be the era of Industry 3.0. I repeat, Industry 3.0. What happened during this period? During Industry 3.0, there was a concept of automation. So automation using electronics and computers. And that's why all of you know that the concept of Param or supercomputers, concept of IT field, concept of computer sciences, you can mark out over here that it was the period of what you call Industry 3.0. Now, instead of Industry 4.0, there was sudden appearance in 1970s, and within say 10 years of span, all of us are aware that we also accepted the policy that is what you call the LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. And it was nothing else but during 1980s, it was the period of globalization. Globalization was nothing else but the converting world into single concept of single village. And that's why the process of offshoring of production to low-cost economies emerged during 1980s. And now, if we refer to new education policy, there is a concept of Industry 4.0, and I'm going to talk of Industry 5.0 also. What is that? Today, it is believed that we are into the period of or phase of Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0, that is the concept of digitalization. Why I took your attention to the phases of development of the industry, equally according to or with the changes or metamorphosizing or the changing requirement of the industry, naturally education industry has also been shifting or introducing or modifying or metamorphosizing or practicing and experimenting different programs and different concepts. And because Industry 4.0 deals with the concept of digitalization, which has introduced the connected devices, which is involved in data analytics, which is involved in artificial intelligence technologies, and which is rather being practiced through the process of atomization. What we have to do with this? We have to do with this to the great extent, because being teachers, we are in the process of delivering to our students putting our systems into the practical point of view. Okay, so the point I was trying to mention that when we go for the Industry 4.0 concept, and you will find reference of Industry 4.0 in even higher education, new education policy which has introduced. And there is now futuristic. What is the future? And already we say that today we are into 4.0, but European countries or developed nations, already they have introduced the concept of Industry 5.0. Believe me. What does Industry 5.0 concept mean to be? Industry 5.0 concept goes with the idea of personalization. This is called to be in fifth industrial revolution, fifth phase of industrial revolution, or the industry focused on the cooperation. See, previously the concept was that I tried to compete with my friend or classmate who is equally graduate for the employment. But now man is being replaced by the machine. Man is being replaced by the machine because of the concept of artificial intelligence. Because of artificial intelligence, the concept of robotics, and you may observe, you might have witnessed, or you might have heard that by many industries, people have been reduced or replaced by the artificial intelligence. You may say that still artificial intelligence is not affecting us. Moment you open some social media site or some helpline, naturally some name pop in and they start asking about the issues. Okay, so I'm not touching, although I'm dealing with industrial revolution, but Dr. Satyendra sir, I'm going to come down to even humanities also, that how humanities are aligned with this particular concepts. Yes, simultaneously simultaneously technologies, and nonetheless that we are going to consider even humanities also. Okay, so just give me some time to interact or to put on the record this particular concept, and why this particular aspect, that there was a cooperation between man and machine, and as a human intelligence works in harmony with the cognitive computing, and by putting humans back into industrial production with collaborative robots, workers with upskill to provide value added task in production, and leading the mass customization and personalization of the consumers. And that's why if you open IRCTC portal on internet, naturally Disha pops in. What is it? Day-to-day life, artificial intelligence example. My dear teacher friends, I'm not deviating from the topic. I'm just making your ground to link it to new education policy and this particular concept, that now, although we are from science, although we are from social sciences, although we are from humanities, although we are from commerce, engineering, any educational stream background, we'll have to align, or we'll have to understand the concept of online and digital education, and what are the provisions made, futuristic provisions that have been made in new education policy. And we need to customize, and that's why I introduced the concept that is Industry 5.0, which deals with the concept of what you call personalization. Personalization in terms of our streams, that we'll have to customize our pedagogies, we'll have to customize our methodologies when it comes to what you call humanities or requirement of the societies using the digital mode. And in this regard, new education policy, let it be NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework introduced by UGC, let it be academic or administrative audits designed by different society systems or different societies or bodies, let it be NAC or let it be NIRF. All these policy makers are trying to align, and all the state governments and central government, Ministry of Education is also trying to accommodate our education system, which involve all the processes related to education into the provisions or futuristic provisions or policies that have been suggested in new education policies. What are they? Basically, since because already you have started some 3-4 days before, just to very briskly within a minute, new education policy, a policy claims that it deals with the holistic development of learner, not only cognitive. Remember, when it comes to the development of the personality of the student, I'm going to explain what is the concept or what does it mean to be holistic development. What are the areas or what are the things that are required? And new education policy says that it has design plan to equip students with the 21st century skills. 21st century skills. Please make this word by heart. Disley sir, you might know Ranjit Singh Disley, and incidentally he is 34-40 kilometers away from my place. He is from the same district. We have had an occasion. I had an occasion to interact with him, and when the point came up, with the global teaching, global prize winning teacher, I asked him, sir, why rather there is a disinterest among the students for teaching learning? One. Secondly, why the present condition of the if there is any, is lethargic? I would like to just quote his sentences. Sir, he says that we are the teachers of 21st century learners, smart learners, digitally equipped learners. Remember, yeah, go back to your homes. आपने घर में कोई एक सेल फोन परचेस किया है और एप्स या उसके सिस्टम्स आपको जस्ट डाउनलोड करना है, एप्स यूज करना है, एंड ऑल ऑफ यू विल नॉट पॉजिटिवली कि रादर देन your younger one has grabbed it from your hand and he has skillfully done it as if someone has trained him. And he might have said, when you ask something, ye kaise hai, what is use of this, he might have asked you कि ये इतना भी नहीं पता चला, इतना भी आपको पापा ऐसे पता नहीं चला, मम्मी आपको इतना भी पता चलने ये ऐसे ऐसे रहते हैं और ये सब यूज करते हैं. So it may say, what is the generation? Disley sir had said in his one of the statements, as I was trying to tell you, we are the teachers of 21st century smart learners. These 21st century smart learners have been taught by 20th century teachers. 21st century smart learners are being taught by 20th century teachers using 19th century content and 18th century teaching methods or pedagogies. I think he was not layman to pass on the statement. There might not be 100% what you call reality in it. As Sunil sir says that right now all the industry is profit making rather than employee satisfaction, mostly in private sector. This is debatable, Sunil sir. But let us stick to the concept of new education policy, that new education policy aims students to equip with the 21st century skills. Secondly, development of knowledge, skills, values, and disposition that supports responsible commitment to human right and sustainable development of living. Please take away a single word from here. Second statement, that is sustainable development. Sustainable. Because until and unless we introduce and we see to it that it is being continued for a longer time, it will not be able to convert into our practice. It will not be possible for taking it or making it a part of our mechanism, which is second level, that is sustenance, and highest level is excellence in it. Means we initiate, we sustain, and then we set benchmark to make it to the what you call excellence. So this is what is proposed. Then new education policy has dealt with what you call the problems of higher educations. That is, our education system basically focuses on our cognitive skills. What does it mean? The cognitive skills, the concept of cognitive skill go with the knowledge base. That in teaching classroom environment, most of the occasions we have only the classroom interaction. or classroom teaching learning. Classroom teaching learning. But the fact is that not only with the education, and if you refer to the white paper issued by NAC, Bengaluru, you will realize that they say that there is a need to replace or modify Bloom's taxonomy, because Bloom's taxonomy is charged with the concept that it deals with only cognitive development or cognitive outcome attainment of the students. It does not touch either affective or psychomotor domains of the students. Okay, so try to mark out the point that new education policy deals. That's why new education policy goes with the concept of revamping complete curriculum, because there are so many changes that we are going to witness right now, right from here, because already the processes have been started and they are being planned, and we are going to mark out so many changes into new education policy in terms of curriculum, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of assessment, in terms of even student support. And more important is that not only cognitive skill is important, as NEP believes, the holistic development of the student, which will be not employed. He may not be employed, but rather than employed, he needs to be given employability skills. Not only skill, but employability skill is skill. Try to understand the difference between giving employment at one point of time is very is useful, but not only that, he needs to be equipped with the set of employability skills, and along with employability skills, if not employment, give him base of entrepreneurship skills. Give him base of entrepreneurship skills with equal weightage on soft skill. This is what the new education policy, and this will lead to nothing else but what you call the productivity, and productivity in terms of the assessments also, which we are going to talk here in further. So the today's topic, which I'm going to deal or discuss very extensively, that online and digital education. When we think of online education, online digital and digital education, and ensuring equitable use of technology, we are going to peep into this particular concept, that what exactly is the provision that has been made in new education policy 2020 for the purpose of ensuring equitable use of technology. Because this particular term is the chapter 23 of new education policy. Remember, I'm going to refer to the chapter 23, 24 and 25 directly of new education policy, because 24 will deal with the ICT integration and 25 will be the implementation of new education policy in terms of the setting up online systems. So whatever I'm going to speak, it is going to directly or indirectly or straight away, it is going to refer to a new education policy. Okay, because basically 6 components have been stressed upon. 6 components have been stressed upon. In terms of new education policy, it is on the OBE, outcome-based education, ICT integration, then multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, so many, then distance, everything is there. So the basic or one of the components I'm going to deal, and that's why I straight away told that from where this topic has emerged, or what has made this particular concept so what you call important, because on 21st March 2019, we have had, sorry, 21st March 2020 was the first day of lockdown. And if I would have asked the same question to all of you on 20th or 1st March 2020, how many of you have conducted online lectures? One. Secondly, how many of you have, or what are the tools or online delivery mode that you use, or do you have any provision like Google Class, or do you use any LMS? I quote LMS, learning management system, do you have? Or if I would have asked you with lot of daring, does your institution have provision of budgetary provision to purchase MIS, LMS and what is the ratio of expenditure for LMS or management, or what you call MIS during that particular assessment year, then what would be the response? So time is changing, and this particular concept has been considered in new education policy. What has been considered? New education policy has made a clear statement that we need to be equipped with the futuristic trends. Two types of incidents, one planned incidents. We are a bit ready for that. कि यहाँ पे एक धमाका करने वाले हैं, हम पोखरण करने वाले हैं. We are ready with the aftermaths of it. But suppose धमाके का कोई प्लान ही नहीं था. Suddenly earthquake आ जाता है. It is not planned event. Still we have to manage that event, and we have to prepare, or we have to keep our systems ready to cope or to meet with the disaster. So that was one of the disaster which you quoted me, that COVID ने हमें बहुत सिखा दिया है. कोविड हमारी जिंदगी में टेक्नोलॉजी को एक्सप्लॉइट करने का चांस लेके आया है. आनंद सर, your word, that is exploitation and compelling. Okay, compel. So the point I am trying to make is new circumstances. What are those new circumstances? One, not only circumstances of COVID, circumstances and realities also. Realities what? Of what? Realities of the global industries, where global industry is taking diversion to a juncture, that is from industry 4.0 of atomization, of globalization, of artificial intelligence, to the next era of industry 5.0, that is personalization. और हमारे बच्चे, अगर हमारा हायर एजुकेशन बच्चों को कमिट करता है कि आपकी एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी यहाँ पे बढ़ती है, डिग्री कंप्लीट करने के बाद हम ये सब लिखते हैं ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट्स में. हमारे वी राइट enlist everything in our graduate attributes, program outcomes और program specific outcome में लिख देते हैं. Enhancing employability skills, और enhancing employability skills में ये आता है कि we claim, but the question rises, are our systems being practiced in the same way that we commit? अगर वो problem आता तो NASSCOM का report 2021 का और 2022 का ये danger alarm नहीं दे सकता, because NASSCOM report states that only 39 students from engineering degrees are able to get the job. The reason I have Global World Economic Forum's report, the same, that 40% students carry contemporary or futuristic employability skills, and they are equipped. Or baki ke either, why? What is the problem? They are skilled, but sometimes there is a possibility that they might be unskilled. Second possibility, they might be underskilled. And that's why these systems have to be updated with the target or with the aim of reskilling our students with the requirement of employability or entrepreneurship skill to be the what you call respectable. Or because of globalization, why I was trying to tell you for 5-10 minutes, world is considered to be a single platform now. हमारा एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट माइग्रेटरी मूवमेंट है, डायस्पोरिक मूवमेंट है, और ये जब मूवमेंट में बच्चा इधर से उधर जाता है, ग्लोबल लेवल पे हमारा स्टैंडिंग तब होने वाला है व्हेन वी मॉडिफाई आवरसेल्व्स. वो भी जब सुना आपने, आप बोलते, जब मैपिंग में बोलता हूँ, बिकॉज आई हैव कंडक्टेड मोर देन 60 सेशंस ऑन राइटिंग, मैपिंग, कोरिलेशन एंड कैलकुलेशन ऑफ अटेनमेंट्स to even many autonomous institutions. After conducting 5 to 6 hour sessions in a day, I receive one question. Does it mean कि सर हमने आज तक पढ़ाया ही नहीं, हमारे बच्चे ग्रेजुएट हुए ही नहीं, हमारे बच्चों को जॉब लगा ही नहीं? I didn't claim that. We need to modify, we need to metamorphosize, we need to change or shift according to the requirement of time. This is the point that I am trying to mention. Upgradation, systemization, and that's why new education policy has shown the sensitivity that we have to understand circumstances and the realities, and as a result of those realities we have to take new initiatives. Let it be pandemic or let it be the global requirement, क्योंकि हम हमारे हायर एजुकेशन का एक मोटो रखते हैं कि मेरा जो ग्रेजुएट जाएगा that he will be globally competent graduate. अगर वो globally competent होता है, ना कि सिर्फ कहने के लिए, ना कि सिर्फ बोलने के लिए, ना कि सिर्फ ये क्लेम करने के लिए, to be specific, कि when he is employed, naturally he reflects. क्योंकि आजकल क्या होता है कि इंडस्ट्री को, सॉरी, एजुकेशन को भी सेक्टर नहीं कहा जाता है, एजुकेशन को आजकल इंडस्ट्री कहा जाता है. और अगर हमने इंडस्ट्री की बात सुनी, इंडस्ट्री में रॉ मटेरियल, प्रोसेसिंग हाउस, प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट और फिनिश्ड मटेरियल जिसपे हमारा ब्रांड का बेंचमार्किंग रहता है. अगर लक्स का नाम या कोई डिटर्जेंट का नाम अलग रख दिया, पेड रख दिया, तो भी लोग परचेस करने वाले हैं, नॉट फॉर द सेक ऑफ इट्स नेम, सेक ऑफ द क्वालिटीज, एंड दे आर द एट्रीब्यूट्स. हम भी ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट लिखते हैं, कंपनी भी उनके प्रोडक्ट के एट्रीब्यूट्स लिखते हैं. और हमारा जब बच्चा मार्केट में जाता है कि व्हेन ही इज पिक्ड अप, ही इज आस्क्ड कौन से इंस्टीट्यूट से आए हो, और कौन से इंस्टीट्यूट से आए हो ये जब पूछा जाता है, इट मीन्स कि उस इंस्टीट्यूट्स के प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स, दैट इज क्लासरूम टीचिंग, लर्निंग एंड एनवायरनमेंट और पेडागॉगीज है, उसके ऊपर जो कल्चर, उसके ऊपर जो टीचिंग वाले संस्कार जो किए जाते हैं, उसको इन्वॉल्व जो किया जाता है, उसको फ्यूचरिस्टिक और कंटेम्पररी ट्रेंड जो दिया जा सकता है, दैट इज नथिंग एल्स बट व्हाट यू कॉल आवर प्रोसेसिंग and in inducting the culture of what you call what we have promised. So new education policy further states that we have to plan for leveraging advantage and risks of the technology. आपने एडवांटेज बोला कि ज्योग्राफिकल बॉर्डर, कितना भी बड़ा पेंडेमिक आया था फिर भी यू डिडंट स्टॉप बिकॉज ऑफ विद द हेल्प ऑफ थैंक्स टू टेक्नोलॉजी, ये रहा एडवांटेज. लेकिन आपने बोला we fail to retain their attention, we fail to give them real life experience. बच्चे को कॉग्निटिव, देखिए जब असेसमेंट का टाइम आता है क्लास में, हम कभी टेस्ट लेते हैं, ये टेस्ट के मार्क्स फाइनल में कंसीडर किए जाते हैं. आप बोलेंगे ये समेटिव है, ये है समेटिव असेसमेंट. डज इट मीन कि एक ही टाइप के एग्जाम लेते हैं? नो, वी गो फॉर the even other thing. What is it? We go for even formative assessments. ये formative assessment क्या है? We teach or explain some concept and we request students to respond back, and through their answers we try to understand, we try to gain the knowledge whether they have understood the concept or not. This is called as a formative assessment. So here new education policy has considered the fact in terms of leveraging equitable technology that they would go for checking advantages and risk of use of technology for teaching, learning and evaluation processes. If it is evaluation process, yes. Then the implementation through pilot study. अभी provision देखिए, futuristic planning क्या चल रही है? It is planned by in the new education policy कि implementation overnight implementation is not going to take place. Overnight, instead of overnight implementation, there would be implementation through pilot studies to determine benefit of online and digital education. आपने मीम्स भी देखे हैं, आपने कुछ सोशल मीडिया पे इसके बच्चा एक फोटोग्राफ उसका लगा के स्क्रीन के सामने रख देता है और वो पीछे सोया हुआ है. ये भी उसका एक डिसएडवांटेज हमने ही सर्कुलेट किया है. ओके, सो देन अगर ऑनलाइन या ऑन स्क्रीन एग्जाम है, ऑल ऑफ अस नो दैट साइमल्टेनियसली सेकंड गूगल गुरु की विंडो कैसे ओपन रहती है और मास कॉपिंग कैसे चलती है. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द advantages and disadvantages also, but in new education policy this has been taken note of, that the advantages, both the advantages and disadvantages will be considered. What is useful and what may not be useful will be considered, will be considered in consideration with the social, economic and demographic requirement of the student, of the society. And that's why after consideration of all the issue, new education policy has come to the conclusion that there is a need for optimization and expansion of existing digital platforms. When I asked you some questions that you quoted for maximum 5 online platform tools for teaching learning processes, 6th one was there. But apart from that, for the education, remember right now, our gross enrollment ratio is considered to be 26%. We have planned for 50% of gross enrollment ratio, and new education policy in other chapters mentions that by 2040, there will be or NEP is claiming that there will be 50% gross enrollment ratio in higher education. अगर हमारी बात कर ले कि अभी हमारे पास फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उतना है क्या, 26% में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑलमोस्ट फुल है, and that's why distance education, online distance education has been stressed, and according to that, the systems, that is infrastructure, which infrastructure, not physical infrastructure, because infrastructure in a broader level is divided into two. One, first infrastructure, that is physical infrastructure, which is being discussed since long days or ages. But now in 21st century, another infrastructure, that is a digital infrastructure. So with the concept of online digital infrastructure goes with the strengthening your connectivity, strengthening your tools, expansion your tools. Not only expansion, when I will be able to expand it, when we design and develop it as per our requirement. और इसीलिए डेल का कंप्यूटर आईबीएम से ज्यादा फेमस क्यों हुआ? अगर इसके हिस्ट्री के पास जाते हैं, आईबीएम यूज्ड टू डिजाइन समथिंग एंड टेल पीपल, इन्फॉर्म पीपल कि आपके लिए यूजफुल हो सकता है, बट डेल प्रैक्टिकली कलेक्टेड इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द मार्केट कि हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है, एंड माइकल डेल कस्टमाइज्ड computers or softwares according to the requirement of the market in the systems which were manufactured by IBM, and it sold under the brand of Dell. So ज्यादा profitable कौन सा होना है, productive कौन सा होने वाला है कि we need to customize the system, not borrowed system from some or other countries. So that particular concept is also being given. Rajpal sir. Sir, please mute Rajpal sir.
लिहिण्याचं वडील वारले का?
Rajpal sir, please mute your mic.
I think he is not audible for himself. Please mute sir. You can mute, being admin.
राम.
Sir, please. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so coming back, that new education policy has also taken a note to address, or its preparedness to address and eliminate the digital divide, and that's what I was trying to ask you when the response was received. That how do you define the digital divide? Digital divide deals with nothing else but the opportunity or the infrastructure that we have provided in all the areas, among all the economies, among all the sections and all the faculties and branches, whether it is equitable or not. One. Secondly, do we have computing systems? Do we have computing systems? अभी आप सबको पता है कि जब ऑनलाइन हमारे सेशंस शुरू हो गए, we read a sad news story in our in the newspaper, because parents were not able to give the handset, Android-based handset, a student committed suicide. So because of poverty, students were not able to attend the classes. It means this is the fact that there is a digital divide based on the economic condition. Shivaji Pawar sir, if at all you would like to ask me something because you have raised your hand, feel free to ask, because I believe that until and unless there is an interaction, we are not going to get more and more. Okay, so coming back till then, use of technology for online and digital education is connected with 21st century concept of equality. And remember, equality in a broader sense goes back to our constitutional right. Access and equity. Access and equity of opportunity in terms of the online and digital education. What are the facts and concerns related? One, no doubt, okay, let the government introduce or develop the physical facilities, ICT-based facilities, consistent 24 hours light, okay, consistent light, then enhance wide range also, connectivity issue also. Then free laptops have been, or free tabs have been distributed, okay. But does it mean that if Deepak Nanaware is good teacher in traditional mode of teaching learning, does it mean that he's the best teacher or will be equally good teacher on the ICT based platform or not? Absolutely questionable. Because a traditionally chalk and talk method based teacher might have designed his teaching pedagogies or might have designed his what you call resources according to the requirement of the then traditional methods. Now, the first challenge or the first thing that comes in that all the teachers need to be converted or transformed into technology savvy, and this was one of the points that was mentioned. What was that? That we teachers, what is role, our role, or the role of the teacher, or our role, because all of us are teachers. Our role for the implementation of one of the components of implementation of NEP, and that too, providing possibility of equitable higher education online teaching methodology. First of all, we'll have to equip with ourselves. We'll have to learn those systems. We'll have to practice those systems. पहले गूगल को म्यूट नहीं करना आता था, पीपीटीज में नहीं करने आते थे, और बहुत सारे ऐसे सिचुएशन, फनी सिचुएशन हो गई कि हमारा वीडियो चालू था, अभी जैसा हो गया कि सर वाज अनअवेयर कि ही इज नॉट म्यूटेड, still he started interaction. So ये जो systems है कि क्या इसमें किया जा सकता है, क्या इसमें किया जा सकता है. The first challenge is that teachers training and the upgradation and the development of the teacher for effective online educators. मतलब teacher की identity होने वाली है from teacher to educator, and that to on screen, online and digital educators. ये हमारी identity पहले shift होने वाली है. Then transforming traditional classroom teachers and classrooms into online classrooms. अभी हम अगर क्लास में पढ़ा रहे हैं, does it mean कि चौक और टॉक नहीं? ICT based टेक्नोलॉजी में अगर हमारी क्लास चल रही है, simultaneously you use different tools. हमारा स्मार्ट बोर्ड है, हमारे ओपन एजुकेशनल रिसोर्सेस है, और वहां पे एक कॉन्सेप्ट आता है कि आप अगर पढ़ाते हो, बेसिकली I work in commerce college, but many times we come to know that those students, those who, मैं commerce से example देता हूँ, BCom banking, BCom accountancy, और BCom banking करने के बाद कोई nationalized bank में जाता है, and many times my student is, if my student is not filling or not able to fill in account opening form properly, जो सामने वाला जो क्लर्क है, जो ऑफिसर है, रिस्पॉन्सिबल ऑफिसर, अगर वो कोई निगेटिव कमेंट पास ऑन करता है तो पढ़ा हुआ लगता है, ग्रेजुएट लगता है, लेकिन सीधा फॉर्म नहीं भर सकता. That is not blame or that is not charge on that particular student only. It may be considered to be a systemic fault, क्योंकि hands on experience, concept of hands on experience, शायद बैंक का ट्रांजैक्शन उसको हमने दिया नहीं है. लेट इट बी फ्रॉम, ट्राई टू एक्सेप्ट दोस कॉन्सेप्ट टू ह्यूमैनिटीज. अगर स्टूडेंट है पॉलिटिकल साइंस का और उसको डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम में रोल अगर प्ले नहीं करने आता, रोल का अवेयरनेस नहीं है, प्रॉज एंड कॉन्स मालूम नहीं है, व्हाट सिस्टम इज ही गोइंग टू प्लान फॉर और इम्प्लीमेंट? द क्वेश्चन राइजेस. सो therein comes the practice, that is we need to give them the experience, and the experience goes with one of the isms that is taught. What is that? It is called as a constructivism. पहले cognitivism था, behavioralism था, अभी का 21st century है, we go with the concept of what you call the constructivism, कि knowledge can be generated, और उसको hands on experience देके using technology, there is one more concept. अभी तक हमारे मॉड्यूल में आया नहीं कहीं पे, but new education policy has mentioned one of the concept of simulations. I think you have heard this concept. Have you? Simulation, that is virtual reality. अगर suppose if it is from medicine, कोई process है, practically हम नहीं दिखा सकते, लेकिन उसके videos बनाए जाते हैं. If you search on internet कि simulation videos, you will realize. And now न्यू एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज डिमांडिंग कि बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशन में, यूजुअली इन मेडिकल कॉलेजेस, इट इज रिक्वेस्टेड, इट इज आस्क्ड, डू यू हैव सिमुलेशन लैबोरेटरीज. एंड टाइम इज वेरी नियर व्हेन वी विल आल्सो बी आस्क्ड कि अगर आप एजुकेशन दे रहे हो, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैव यू डन टू एस्टैब्लिश योर सिमुलेशंस in your teaching learning methodologies using ICTs. So we need to be aware with those modifications in pedagogies, as I tried to tell you. Then introduction of new examination and evaluation methodologies. What is that examination and evaluation methodology? There are two concepts. One is online education, online examination. Second is on-screen examination. On-screen and online examination. On-screen, questions are sent on your screen, and there you visit the place, and then you respond to it. But online examination, you need not go to that particular place, you stay back to your own place, and through that digital mode or virtual mode. Does it mean that right now we are able to? कोविड के टाइम में हमारे बच्चों ने एग्जाम लिखा है, कैसे लिखा है हमें मालूम नहीं, बिकॉज हमें कोई पीछे से आंसर प्रॉम्प्ट कर रहा था. मेनी सिचुएशंस वेयर कॉट लाइक दैट. मास कॉपिंग होती है क्या, उसकी कनेक्टिविटी है क्या, सेम क्वेश्चंस पॉप्ड इन. सो न्यू मेथोडोलॉजीज केम up. Then simultaneously there is a talk of now blended learning. Being a teachers, equitable and assured. अगर pedagogy हमें देनी है तो यहाँ पे blended. What does it mean to be blended? I'm going to explain it in next slide. And then the new education policy also focus on the care and focus on social, affective and psychomotor dimensions of learning. Sir was asking me, sir, इसके लिए क्या? Humanities के लिए क्या? For all the branches, new education policy has thought we need to customize ourselves. It doesn't only deal with the concept of what you call only
लिहिलं पाहिजे ना.
Jadhav sir, yes, thank you, yes, okay. So I was telling you that when the concept of holistic knowledge comes in, try to understand simplistically. That's what I was trying to tell you. One set is knowledge. This is occasion where classroom is responsible for. Next is attitude base. How we are able to develop his attitude through our teaching learning, through our systems, which is called as affective domain. And third is psychomotor. How are we go for the development of his physical skills? It means dimag, dil or hath, to be simplistic. And when it comes to the recommendation, that's what I was trying to tell, that new education policy has decided to go for pilot studies for online education, and number of these agencies, I need not repeat the same, that these agencies will be inducted to check pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of the online education. Then they are going to study and evaluate the pros and cons when actually it is being circulated among the students of all the sections and all the branches and all the faculties. Then the one alarm that has been given, that students have become a cell addict or technology addict. So how to overcome that? This is also under consideration by new education policy. And then what would be the most preferred content formats for e-content? Because e-content generation, depository generation is one of the areas that has been suggested by new education policy. So when it comes to use of technology and integration, it is 6th year in new education policy for the purpose of ensuring equitable use of technology. What is it? One, with the help of ICT or online or digital education, we will change our teaching, learning and evaluation processes. One. Then for the support of the teacher, supporting teachers, preparation and professional development of the teacher, means converting a traditional teacher into ICT based or digitally equipped educator. Then the third is that enhancing educational accesses. How we go for enhancing educational access? Enhancing educational access means online platform. Now online platform, I told you that intentionally I used what is ICT tool. That was not passing the purpose of passing your time. I was trying to ask you, ICT tools means we need to enhance our educational access through different types of tools where we can create our resources. One, we can store our resources and we can transmit our resources and we can evaluate the internalization or acceptance of that resources. So this is also one. Then streamlining educational management administration. The concept goes with ERP, enterprise resource planning. And we know it as MIS, that is management information system. Then removing language barrier. सर आपने ह्यूमैनिटीज के बारे में कहा, मैं अभी आपके ऊपर आता हूं. न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का एक मेन एम है, यहां पे मैं सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए बोल रहा हूं, लेकिन यहां पे एक मेन एम क्या है न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का? द मेन एम इज दैट न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी वुड लाइक न्यू जनरेशन और would like to take education not excluding our culture and languages and nation. हमारे जो नेशन के लैंग्वेजेस हैं, लैंग्वेजेस रहे, कल्चर रहे या सिस्टम्स रहे, मतलब लोकलाइजेशन का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, नेशनलाइजेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट है, इस कल्चरल रूट्स के साथ इंटरलिंकिंग कर रहा है हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम. सो जब टेक्नोलॉजी के पास हम आ जाते हैं, व्हेन वी ट्राई टू एनहांस आवरसेल्फ इन द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, बेसिकली न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी स्ट्रेसेस ऑन creating digital resources, using digital resources, practical digital resources through what? Practical digital resources through the support of local languages. Abhi hamara problem kya hai? Because recently I had spoken on one of the occasions that how we can go back to our language concept. Do we remember Japanese education policy? They have created almost each and every parallel terminology in their mother tongue. Equally, it goes with the China also. Now question rises, we have approximately 28 regional languages, official languages within India. Do we have right now the equal set of vocabulary to get translated all those words in our mother tongue? Answer will be no. So this is what the aim of new education policy, that let our system go hand in hand. Let our teaching learning, let our pedagogy, let our curriculum, let our technology integration go in hand with the cultural root of the nation. आप बोलेंगे इंग्लिश में लिया या हिंदी में लिया या आई एम फ्रॉम मराठी या तेलुगु में लिया या पंजाबी में लिया, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I do remember one of the statement made by one of the international theorists, and his name is Ngugi Thiong'o. Ngugi Thiong'o is the post-colonial theorist, और उसने एक बुक लिखा है, Orientalism. Concept is called as Orientalism. Orientalism, because like India was captivated by the Raj, by the Britishers. Many African countries also were under the captive, were the colonies of the British Empire. I quote him that he said he wrote in English previously. Ngugi Thiong'o wrote as James Ngugi in English. On one fine day, after writing for a certain period of time, he stopped writing in English and he started writing in his mother tongue, that is Gikyu. Gikyu is African language. He started writing in English, in Gikyu, when he was repeatedly queries, why did you stop writing in English and why you started writing in Gikyu? He said that language is a cultural bomb. Language is not innocent. Language is not innocent. Language carries culture. It's a cultural bomb. And that's why New education policy has taken this concept seriously, that we at all we would like to retain our Indianness. If at all we have to maintain our what you call national consciousness, nationalism, we need to go with the concept of what you call removing language barriers, because mostly the content from science, content from sociology has to be expressed through language, because language is a means of communication. Like if language is means of communication, because our students are not good in English, they fail to find proper words, and that's why they might keep mum, because they are not good in communication, English communication. If they are given opportunity for parallel systems of expressing the things, I do remember Raja Rao in his Kantapura novel, in his prologue, he had written, we cannot write like English. We should not write like English, because English language is not a language of our intellectual makeup, emotional makeup. He said, English is not a language of our emotional makeup. English is a language of our intellectual makeup. And this is the major problem that has been realized, that because of language proficiency of English, that's what when ma'am tried to say that sir, rural ke bacche hai, communication ka problem hai. That's why I was taking your say. I wanted to come to certain ground. Ki kyun hota hai? They might not feel comfortable. And that's why access, one more point, that is differently able. Teaching, learning or systems are also equally aimed to satisfy the requirement of what you call the differently able. And that's why, as I was trying to say, that new education policy aims at giving or enhancing or creating digital infrastructure which will be able to reach to all the sections or all the stratas of the society. That is complexity, it will overcome complexity, diversities to all the sections, and then there will be technology-based solutions will be ensured. Then what are development? New education policy also talks of the extension of existing. All of us are aware about the Swayam and Diksha platform, but now new education policy has decided to overcome, and they would like teachers to involve. They would like teachers to get involved into development of new platform, and not only one-sided delivery. आपने जो बोला था मैम कि यहाँ पे क्या है, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी हैज कंसिडर्ड कि इक्विटेबल, कॉम्पिटेबल कब सिस्टम हो सकता है, the tools, such tools that they will be two-way interactive video audio interface among the teachers and students, and most important is that content creation के बाद digital depository, and then dissemination systems are supposed to be strengthened. और आपने जो कहा था ये कैसे होगा कि कोई कोर्स प्रिफर किया है, let it be a regular class, there will be a blended mode of teaching now. Blended mode of teaching, hybrid mode of teaching will be there with the equitable systems through the creation of coursework, learning gamings and simulations, इसकी भी बात मैंने की है. और जो वर्चुअल और डिजिटल डिवाइड में आपने बोला था कि virtual reality में there is no real life experience, and that's why new education policy looks at us and the system to develop the more realistic approach, or what we call augmented reality, for the effectiveness, for delightful teaching learning methodologies. क्या फोकस किया है fun based learning. Let it be a delightful learning, let it be gaming, development of different apps, gamification, using local and regional examples with the clear-cut operating installation and the student delivery to the content. So that whatever digital divide is there, because of paucity of time, I'm little. Gumti sir, how much time can you allot me? If I have crossed the time, I can stop. But I think
time is over, but you can take your own time.
Let participant also speak. Participant, how much time do you permit me? Yes, participant friend, because I don't want to bore or force. Sunil sir says continue. How much time? Okay, I shall try to wind up within maximum 10 minutes if you allow me. Okay, because topic is really interesting, because it gives us, slowly I'm going to focus on the role as teachers of 21st century. Okay, so I'm going to move on these middle slides rapidly, little bit, and then I'm going to conclude with some kind of my concrete say on this. Present situation, you have focused that limited resources. Now planning, new education policy has planned that they will try to develop, or new areas will try to be developed that using existing mass media, that televisions, radios or community radios, telecast and broadcast. All of us know that many Ministry of HRD already place many programs or dedicated educational platforms are available over there. But right now they have not reached to the level of adequacy. 24/7 concept of the education, and that's what I was trying to mention, that it was the new education policy is trying to give special focus on content in Indian languages. The reason already I have explained. There is a plan to to develop virtual labs. Meantime, this has already had begun before this thing. Amruta University or IITs, they have come up with the virtual laboratory, concept of virtual laboratory, where whatever resources that you have prepared, you can digitally store them. But now all of us know that there are e-content learning platforms in the form of Diksha, Swayam and Swayam Prabha. But it is believed that they will be expanded to the greater extent, because student need to get wherever he would like to, because it is going to help us to overcome the time, distance and the space barrier. अभी मुझे टाइम नहीं है, मैं रात में देख सकता हूँ, मैं सुबह में देख सकता हूँ. I may not be available at this point of time, but if the lecture is available on through online mode, naturally wherever I'm going to complete that module, complete that credit when I'm going to have the time. So the point I'm trying to mention is that the system is trying to update ourselves. अभी हमारा रोल कहाँ पे आता है? हम सब ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे, हम टीचर्स के प्लेटफॉर्म पे, dear teachers, I have used the word, मेरा तो इंग्लिश है, लेकिन I have used the word catalyst and metamorphosis. Time to change. Teachers के लिए the different types of teaching modules are being expected or are being proposed. What are they? One, from traditional chalk and talk method or classroom teaching environment to digitally or online equipped teachers or online methodology equipped teacher. मतलब क्या है? Integration of technology for teaching learning. One. Secondly, not only integration of technology, but use of technology for different types of teaching methodologies. I hope you got my point. Use of technology for practicing problem solving, participative methodologies, hands-on training methodologies, simulation methodologies, experimental methodology. So such types of activities need to be given through those platforms, and we teacher. अभी I have come across, मैंने बहुत सारे टीचर्स को बोला था कि आपको स्टूडेंट्स के फॉर्मेटिव कैसे ले. किसी ने बोला गूगल प्लेटफॉर्म यूज करता, किसी ने बोला मैं काहुत यूज करता हूँ, काहुत के साथ मैं घर में भी बैठ के या बच्चों के साथ मैं डील करता हूँ. गेमिंग किस तरीके से, ही शोड समथिंग कि मैंने ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन आई हैव प्रैक्टिस दिस. सो दिस एक्सीडेंटल और इंसिडेंटल शुड be turned into or should be converted into need-based or mandatory requirement of 21st century teacher to cater to the requirement of 21st century learning. Okay, so this is what one of the teacher, and facilitating student engagement मैंने participative बोला है. इसके लिए भी बोला है. सिर्फ यहाँ पे एक point मुझे explain करना था, concept of rubrics. लेकिन if in future if I get time ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग के बारे में भी मैंने बोला था, बेसिकली बोला है, कॉन्सेप्ट दिया है. ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग का एक क्लासरूम ट्रेनिंग, ई लर्निंग, इसका जो कॉम्बिनेशन आ जाता है बहुत सिंपलिस्टिकली मैंने प्लेस करने की कोशिश की जाती है. दिस एरिया इज ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग, मिक्सचर ऑफ टू. सो एस्टैब्लिश स्टैंडर्ड ये भी है कि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी एम्ड एट, हमें मालूम है कि जब यूजीसी के जर्नल शुरू हो गए तो क्या हुआ था, सिस्टम बाद में बहुत एलिमिनेशन, डिलीशन, एडिशन हो गए. Now new education policy has shown its preparedness for what? Shown its preparedness for monitoring of the standard of content. क्योंकि यहां पे मैंने बोला था कि we are not the sole dictators of knowledge. हमारा पोजीशन क्यों है? आई डू रिमेंबर आर्य चाणक्य सेंटेंस. हमारे टीचर की पोजीशन क्या है हिस्ट्री में? वो टीचर ने आर्य चाणक्य का एक सेंटेंस मुझे याद है कि आर्य चाणक्य से कि शिक्षक साधारण नहीं होता क्योंकि निर्माण और प्रलय उसके गोद में खिलते. शिक्षक साधारण नहीं होता, निर्माण और प्रलय उसके गोद में खिलते हैं. एंड फर्दर ही सेज, अगर आज की कोई स्थिति ऐसी होगी कि सेकेंडरी पोजीशन ऑफ द टीचर, we might have lost the center position, because sometimes we might have lost the position कि शस्त्र और शास्त्र से हम शायद कॉम्प्रोमाइज करने के मूड में हैं. There is a possibility. I'm not giving a charge, because when I'm charging you, not you, first me. Okay, this is what. So there will be monitoring systems. There will be guidelines for all the teachers, and the digital integration will be the last part of my presentation. To conclude, that is one, transform India into digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. See, underline the word, that new education policy aims at creating empowered society and knowledge economy. See, economy based on the knowledge, because in future is based on the data. You might understand कि अगर आपने किसी यहाँ पे विजिट किया है और आपका नंबर कहीं पे फोन डायल किया है, बाद में उसका फॉलोअप कॉल आता है, जिसके पास डेटा है 21st सेंचुरी का वो राजा है. So knowledge economy, the concept and its delivery, virtual platforms, this is also one of the proposition. And here you can see that National Education Technology Forum will be created. Ministry of Education will try in this regard, and simultaneously National Research Foundation, because of paucity of time I'm not explaining, because new education policy has seen bilateral relation between the technology and education. Why? Because education to play a critical role in the transformation, and technology to play a role in the improvement of educational process as an outcome. This is seen. And role of teacher is considered to be convert or change yourself or transform into techno-savvy teachers and entrepreneurship supporting teachers. Second, go for artificial intelligence. You will be naturally linked with the industry 5.0 concept. Next is that the concepts like machine learning, the blockchains, smart boards, handheld computing devices, adaptive computing and testing for student development, then educational softwares and hardwares need to be used, and then we need to use all such types of, these are just the representative softwares, but mostly we need to consider its use, that they are used for the core activity for the first stakeholder, that is our teaching, learning process and research process. Because it has been proposed that there will be NETF, that is National Education Technology Forum, which will advise, which will build intellectual capacities, and which will articulate new direction to research and innovation. And there will be one more establishment called as New National Research Foundation to go for the core research in artificial intelligence, then internalizing international research trends and developing or practicing it in the national system, then the developing and deploying application-based research, because we are charged that so many PhDs are being produced, but hardly there are some PhDs which are able to bring in the change in the life of common man. And new education policies 24th chapter and 5th chapter goes with the concept of the implementation plan of the practice of equitable digital and online education in this term. So this is what just I wanted to share with you related to the strengthening our systems. Actually, I wanted to discuss more, but time has to be respected. Otherwise, Janpure sir will throw out me and ask me to stop. So I try to give my level best within the short stipulated time. The only only say from this is, this is not an end. This is just beginning of an end and end of beginning. So thank you once again for bearing me for such a long time. And let us meet sometimes, because world is round. World is round. Let us meet sometime and discuss and agree to disagree. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Just you started like we start in the classrooms. And there is ice-breaking activity. It was very interactive session. I think the most interactive session of all so far. And on the questioning and answering, you just asked about online tools and resources and the difference between that. And you also talked about the history of industrial revolution and provisions made in NEP, especially a reference of chapter 23 you gave. Then you also talked about advantages and disadvantages of technologies, that there are challenges and that all teachers need to be equipped, techno-savvy. We all will have to be equipped, of course. You also talked about simulation laboratories and the difference between online and on-screen examination, very deliberately explained. There is also provision for the students to getting technology addictions, and then blended teaching you made mention of, then creation, storage, transmission, evaluation, almost everything about this topic, that is ensuring equitable use of technology. We all are satisfied, I suppose. Thank you very much for very nice session. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
As you
Thank you.
said, it is just end of the beginning. Meeting and parting is just way of life. But parting and meeting is hope of life. I hope we'll meet once again somewhere else, somehow else. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And do communicate feedback from the participants. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Shall I break?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I appeal all delegates to feel the feedback.
Okay. Do communicate your feedback, all of you. Thank you very much.